The vibe is absolutely electric at the Spring Cup's opening match, where Raimon Junior High is basically flexing their dynasty status on everyone else. It is giving main character energy as they prepare to defend their title against Northbright, a rising powerhouse from Kyushu that is honestly just happy to be there. The crowd is losing it, proving that even a warm-up tournament can break the internet if the stakes are high enough. Destin Billows is going through it, wishing football would just disappear from the world, which is a massive red flag for someone who clearly loves the game. He is in his feelings, walking through a school that prioritizes grades over everything, and realizes this place is a total dead zone for sports. It is the perfect hideout for someone trying to ghost their own passion. But we all know that repression never works out in the long run. Destin introduces himself to the class with a line about fate that is honestly a little cringe, but also kind of iconic. Cedric Freud immediately tries to befriend him with a joke that flops harder than a failed TikTok trend. Destin is trying so hard to be mysterious and unapproachable, but Cedric is persistent, clearly desperate for a sidekick in this NPC-filled town. Briar Bloomhurst is out here catching hands and fighting bullies like he is in an action movie edit. He is clearly the misunderstood delinquent archetype with a heart of gold buried under layers of angst. Destin watches him kick a steel pipe and immediately clocks that Briar has legs built for football, not crime. The talent scout mode activates instantly, proving Destin cannot help himself. Destin confronts Briar about why he took a hit to protect his legs, realizing this delinquent is actually low-key obsessed with his own potential. Briar tries to act tough and tell him to get lost, but the chemistry is undeniable. Destin is starting to realize that maybe he is not the only one in this town suppressing a massive obsession with the beautiful game. We finally get the lore drop on why Destin is moving so weird about football. His dad basically said the sport was for barbarians and forced him to quit, which is toxic parenting at its finest. Destin feels like he has no agency over his life, living out a script written by his parents. He is trauma dumping on Briar, realizing they are both victims of expectations they never asked for. The baseball club is out here disrespecting the beautiful game by using a football for batting practice, which is absolute clown behavior. It is a total power move to show dominance, but it just looks goofy. Destin watches this sacrilege, and you can practically see his villain arc reversing into a hero arc because he cannot let this slide. The tragic backstory hits different when we learn Destin has a rare heart condition. The doctor basically told him his career was cooked before it even started, relying on data to crush a kid's dreams. This explains the emo phase and why he tried to hate the sport. It is not that he wants to quit, it is that the universe forced him to log off. Destin begs Briar to play football for him, projecting all his broken dreams onto this one delinquent. It is a heavy burden to place on someone you just met, but Briar is weirdly into it. Destin is basically saying if he cannot be the protagonist, he will be the director, and Briar is his leading man. The passion is reignited, and we are so back. The disrespect from the baseball club reaches a boiling point, and Destin challenges them to a turf war. It is illogical for baseball to hog the entire field, and Destin is standing on business. He stakes everything on a football match, which is bold, considering they do not even have a full team yet. The audacity is actually inspiring. Hi there. If you want to enjoy more gaming lore without grinding for 60 hours, hit that subscribe button. I do the grinding so you don't have to. Your support really helps the channel. Destin and Briar realize they cannot 2v11 a baseball team, so they begrudgingly recruit Cedric, who claims he dabbled in football. Destin is skeptical of Cedric's sudden inclusion, but beggars cannot be choosers when you are trying to build a dynasty from scratch. The squad is forming, but it is looking like a group of misfits destined for a glow-up. The vice principal is acting like a total gatekeeper, reminding everyone about a vague incident 5 years ago that ruined the school's reputation. She is blocking the football club's revival harder than a spam filter. It is classic authority figure nonsense, blaming the current generation for the sins of the past, but the boys are not hearing it. Destin does a background check on Cedric because he has trust issues and finds out Cedric moved around a lot and struggled to make friends. He calls him out for being a people pleaser, which is harsh but necessary character development. Cedric admits he just wants to fit in, adding another layer of angst to this already emotional sports anime dynamic. The boys are training on the stairs of doom, but Cedric gets distracted by a drone that looks like a kraken. It turns out to be Juno from the student council spying on them because apparently this school has the budget for high-tech surveillance. Destin clocks that Juno is also obsessed with data and muscles, essentially recruiting his first op to the cause. Alex Lafontaine from the student council pulls up to order the immediate dissolution of the club, bringing immense Karen energy. He is trying to enforce rules that nobody cares about, acting like the fun police. Destin is unbothered, treating this bureaucratic nightmare as just another level to beat in his quest to revive football. The student council is interfering again, claiming football is untouchable and taboo. Destin points out the hypocrisy of letting the baseball club mock the sport while banning actual players. Alex warns them that disobedience will lead to force, setting up a classic rebels versus the system narrative that everyone loves to see. Juno reveals she has been stalking Briar's leg development like a weirdo, but it turns out her family runs a health food company, so she is just a fitness nerd. Destin leverages this by basically blackmailing her into helping them. It is a chaotic alliance, but game recognizes game, and they both want to see what Briar can do. We finally see Harper Evans, the son of the legendary Mark Evans, making his debut. He is a literal football monster, moving with a grace that makes everyone else look like they are lagging. The hype is real, and he scores immediately, proving that talent is hereditary and life is unfair. He has that main character aura that makes you want to root for him and hate him simultaneously. Destin has a hallucinatory conversation with football itself, or maybe just his own ambition, realizing he wants to be the hero who takes down the monster. He acknowledges that deep down, he is jealous of Harper Evans and wants to dethrone him. It is the start of a beautiful rivalry that exists entirely in Destin's head for now. Juno builds a strategy simulator using robots because apparently this middle school has the budget of NASA. Destin is impressed, realizing that with Juno's tech and his brain, they might actually stand a chance. It is a major level up for the team's infrastructure, moving them from ragtag group to serious contenders. The boys decide they need clout to recruit members, so they target the dance club because it is popular. They plan to infiltrate as trial members, proving they have no shame in their game. Destin schemes to use the dance club's popularity to boost football's image, treating high school social hierarchy like a marketing campaign. Destin confronts Reika Shinohara, the school idol, on the roof. She is over the idol life and secretly bored, so Destin challenges her to a dance battle. It is a high-stakes gamble to win her influence, proving Destin will literally embarrass himself in public if it means saving the football club. In a weird twist, the local shopkeepers turn out to be football legends who challenge the boys to a match. It is a training arc montage in disguise, with the noodle ladies schooling the young ones. It proves that you should never underestimate the locals, and that football culture runs deep in this town's veins. The dance battle goes down, and Destin busts out a football dance, which is exactly as chaotic as it sounds. The crowd is confused but entertained. Destin loses the vote because Reika has simps, but he wins the moral victory by reigniting Reika's passion for competition. It is a classic failed the task but passed the test moment. Reika joins the football club because she is tired of being perfect and wants to feel the thrill of the struggle again. She realized through Destin's cringe dancing that true joy comes from the grind, not the victory. Her joining is a massive PR win, instantly making the football club the hottest trend at school. Destin starts digging into the incident from 5 years ago, interviewing teachers and uncovering a conspiracy. It turns out the football club was framed to make room for a baseball facility, which is corrupted capitalism at a junior high level. Destin is connecting the dots like a detective, preparing to expose the administration's dirty laundry. The team finds a secret base at Cafe Tank, a retro spot that vibes perfectly with their underdog status. It becomes their war room. Cedric reveals he has been doing his own recon, and the squad realizes they are fighting a war on 2 fronts, on the pitch against rivals and in the shadows against the school board. Destin learns that the town was split in 2 over the facility dispute 5 years ago. It wasn't just a school fight, it was a civil war involving parents and local politics. This adds massive stakes to their revival, proving they are healing a community wound, not just kicking a ball around. The investigation reveals the vice principal set up the old football club by hiring a gang called the Tumblers to instigate a fight. It is actually diabolical villain behavior. Destin lures the gang out with a fake offer of payment, proving he has the tactical mind of a crime boss, not just a football manager. The confrontation with the vice principal is legendary. Destin drops receipts harder than a celebrity gossip account, exposing the entire plot with evidence from the former student council. The principal fires the vice principal on the spot, and the football club is officially cleared. Justice is served, and the ban is lifted. Alex LaFontaine, the former antagonist from the student council, asks to join the club as a goalkeeper. It is a redemption arc speedrun. He feels guilty for being a pawn in the vice principal's game and wants to atone by protecting the goal. Destin accepts him immediately because he needs a keeper and he loves a good reformed villain. The team heads to the beach to train with Seagull FC, a kids team, to get used to the basics. It is a wholesome palate cleanser after the heavy political drama. They play against literal children, but it helps Alex get comfortable in the goal. Sometimes you have to go back to square one to level up. The match against the baseball club finally happens, and the baseball players use a strategy called Keyman Lockdown to isolate their own captain, Theory. It is petty internal drama spilling onto the pitch. Destin realizes Theory is suffering from success, always being fed the ball because of his family name, not his skill. Destin calls out Theory for living in his parents' shadow and never earning anything himself. It is a brutal reality check. Theory realizes he has been playing on easy mode and hates it. He finally snaps and decides to play for himself, leading to a moment of genuine passion that transcends the petty club rivalry. Briar finally stands up to his dad, telling him he is going to play football whether he approves or not. It is a major character breakthrough for the delinquent. His dad is surprisingly chill about it once Briar shows some backbone, proving that sometimes you just need to communicate instead of brooding in the corner. Destin proposes merging the Space Laboratory and Stargazing Club to free up a teacher to be their advisor. It is 4D chess manipulation of the school's bureaucracy. He essentially strong-arms Miss Sereno into the role, proving he will do absolutely anything to make this club official. The man is a menace to the school's organizational chart. Student Council President Lilac refuses to approve the club despite their victory, demanding they win a match in the football frontier first. She is moving the goalposts, but Destin accepts the challenge. It turns out she just wants to ensure they have the pride to represent the school properly, which is valid but annoying gatekeeping. Cade Shelby is having a crisis of confidence, feeling like an imposter in the club. He only joined because he is a simp for Reika. Destin takes him to see Reika practicing alone at night, showing him that talent is actually just insane grind. Cade realizes he cannot just vibe, he has to put in the work. The team holds interviews and picks 5 new members, including some wildly eccentric characters like Marisol and Windsor. The squad is officially assembled, and it looks like a randomly generated RPG party. Destin decides to go with a bare minimum roster of 11 to force unity, which is a high-risk strategy that stresses everyone out. The team tries to make Destin the captain, but he refuses because he physically cannot play. They force him to accept the role anyway, listing him as a sub. Destin gives a speech about becoming the best in Japan, and even though he is trembling, everyone buys in. He is the heart of the team, even if his heart is literally the problem. Harper Evans is going through an existential crisis, admitting that football is boring because he is too good. It is suffering from success on a cosmic level. He is looking for a rival to make him feel something again. Destin is basically standing there like, pick me, ready to become the challenge Harper desperately needs. The first match of the football frontier is against West Manor, and surprise, Harper Evans is guest playing for the enemy. It is a massive boss battle in the tutorial level. The team is shook, but Destin stays calm, because of course he knew this might happen. The difficulty spike is vertical right out of the gate. Harper dominates the first half and then gets subbed out because he is bored and thinks the game is over. Destin reveals this was his plan all along, to let Harper score so he would get benched. It is a strategy that relies entirely on the opponent's arrogance. The team is insulted but realizes they now have a fighting chance. South Cirrus pulls off a miraculous comeback win against West Manor. Harper watches from the sidelines, finally feeling a twinge of interest. He confronts Destin after the game, and Destin challenges him to watch them rise. Harper is intrigued by this cripple who talks a big game, setting up the long-term rivalry arc. The next opponent is Northbright, led by Nikos, who turns out to be Destin's old childhood rival. The drama is ramping up. Nikos knows Destin's past and is clearly happy to see him back in the game, even if they are enemies. It is a wholesome rivalry, but Destin is locked in on winning, not reminiscing. The team goes on a spy mission to Northbright and gets caught immediately. They play a mini-match and get absolutely wrecked, realizing their individual skills are trash compared to a real team. It is a humbling moment that exposes the gap between ambition and reality. They need a power-up, fast. Destin identifies a weakness in Northbright's formation, but realizes they need a special move to exploit it. He creates Spring Thunderclap, a combination shot for Reika and Briar. The training is brutal, but necessary. Destin is basically coding a winning algorithm into his players' muscles before the match starts. Alex asks Reika and Briar to shoot at him simultaneously to develop his own special move, icy grace. It is a great moment of the team realizing that iron sharpens iron. They are building an arsenal of anime-style super moves because regular passing plays just are not going to cut it in this tournament. The match against Northbright is intense. Destin forbids them from using the new special move in the first half, and the team is raging. They think it is because of Briar's leg, but Destin is playing 4D chess again. He is waiting for the pitch to dry so the dust effect of the move works perfectly. The patience is agonizing. Destin finally gives the green light, and they unleash Spring Thunderclap. It blinds the keeper with dust and scores. The team realizes Destin is a genius maniac who timed the weather conditions. They win the match, earning Nikos' respect and proving that strategy beats raw talent when the conditions are right. A bombshell drops. South Cirrus is merging with Northbright because of declining birth rates. The teams have to combine, meaning players will fight for starting spots. It is a corporate merger nightmare, but for middle school sports. The rivalry instantly transforms into an awkward office dynamic where everyone is worried about layoffs. Destin and the Northbright manager, Turner, decide to settle the roster dispute with a manager showdown. They pick mixed teams to force the players to adapt to new strategies. It is a brilliant way to break the ice and force chemistry between the former rivals. The players are confused but rolling with the chaos. Nikos and Destin grab noodles, bonding over their shared obsession with beating Harper Evans. Nikos points out that South Cirrus plays like a single organism, a dragon, because of Destin's leadership. It is a moment of validation for Destin, who often feels useless on the bench. His brain is the team's MVP. The mixed match is a vibe. Players are learning from each other, realizing that Northbright's structure and South Cirrus's adaptability make a deadly combo. Turner reveals he is stepping down and handing the reins entirely to Destin. It was a test of leadership all along, and Destin passed with flying colors. The next opponent is East Wind International, a team of physically dominant foreign exchange students who rely on instinct over strategy. Destin realizes their weakness is stamina and lack of discipline. He devises a plan to play defensively for most of the game and then blitz them in the final 15 minutes. It is a risky endurance gamble. The team struggles to hold back against East Wind's brute force, getting battered. Destin's orders to not score are frustrating the strikers, but they trust the process. The discipline required to get beat up for 60 minutes just to have a chance at winning is insane mental fortitude. The final 15 minutes hit, and East Wind is gassed. Destin gives the signal, and South Cirrus, who trained for this exact scenario, unleashes hell. They run circles around the exhausted giants, scoring goal after goal. It is a triumph of planning over power, and the comeback victory sends them to the Nationals. Shocking news hits the wire. Harper Evans is injured and out for the season. Rumors say his career might be over. Destin is devastated because his entire motivation was beating Harper. It feels like the final boss just glitched out of the game. The victory against East Wind suddenly tastes like ash. Destin finds Harper wandering around Nagasaki, looking depressed. Harper admits he finally understands the pain of not being able to play, which ironically makes him respect the game more. They have a heart-to-heart tour of the city, bonding over their shared tragedy. It is a somber moment of connection before the storm of the finals. The final qualifier opponent, Maritimes, forfeits because of a local sea festival. It is the most anticlimactic way to reach the Nationals ever. The team is confused but takes the win. It feels like the universe is clearing the path for Destin, but in the weirdest way possible. The team arrives at the Oda Football Gardens in Tokyo for the Nationals. It is a football paradise with top-tier facilities. The squad is starstruck, realizing they have made it to the big leagues. The imposter syndrome is creeping in, especially when they run into other elite teams who look down on them. Their next opponent, Storm Ridge, uses Keishin avatars, which are basically stands from JoJo. Destin realizes they need a Keishin to win, and his data says Cedric is the only one who can manifest one. Cedric is terrified, having zero main character energy, but Destin insists his ability to connect people is the key. Destin sends Cedric to Shibuya Crossing to read the energy flow of the crowd. It sounds like fake mystical nonsense, but Cedric actually tries it. He realizes he has always been a chameleon, blending in but never truly connecting. To summon the Keishin, he needs to stop faking it and actually enjoy the moment with his team. During the match, Storm Ridge's Keishins are dominating. Cedric tries to summon his but fails repeatedly because he is still in his head. The team is getting crushed. It is a painful watch as Cedric struggles with his identity crisis in real time while getting dunked on by giant spirit monsters. Cedric finally has his epiphany. He realizes he has been leaving himself out of the team's harmony. He decides to stop being a people-pleaser and start being the entertainer. He summons a massive Keishin born from the team's unity, turning the tide. It is a massive glow-up for the guy who was just a comic relief sidekick. The next match is against Royal Academy, led by Alice Rendell, a manager who is basically a computer. He mocks Destin, turning it into a battle of strategists. Alice has analyzed everyone's social media to find their psychological weak points, which is honestly stalker behavior and incredibly toxic. Alice notices South Cirrus players are moving weirdly. Destin reveals he made them wear different boots to mess up the ball's trajectory and throw off Alice's data. It is a petty genius move to counter a perfectionist. Destin is proving that chaos is the only way to beat a calculated system. Alice targets Cade Shelby, knowing he lacks confidence. But Cade activates his copycat mode, mimicking Reika's personality to boost his stats. Since Cade never posted about this secret skill online, Alice has no data on it. It is a brilliant subversion of the digital surveillance age. You can't hack what isn't on the internet. South Cirrus beats Royal Academy, shattering Alice's perfect world. Alice is shook but respects the hustle. Destin proves that human unpredictability beats machine learning every time. The win sets them up for the grand final against Raimon, the ultimate boss fight. Destin and the team investigate Harper's injury and discover he was poisoned by rigged boots given to him by manager Norris. Norris blames Harper for his own son's death, which is a tragic misunderstanding. Destin reveals Harper and the son were actually besties who supported each other online. The drama is heavier than a soap opera. Harper learns the truth and realizes he wasn't hated. He decides to return to football, his passion reignited by the memory of his friend. He shows up at the finals just in time, not as a broken victim, but as the awakened monster. The final match against Raimon just got infinitely harder. Destin calls in the old baseball club for a final practice session, needing raw physical opponents to simulate Raimon's power. It is a full-circle moment, training with the guys they fought in Chapter 1. The team is exhausted but unified, ready to face the kings of youth football. Before the match, Destin gives a speech, admitting he won't be satisfied even if they lose, dropping the "happy to be here" act. He wants total victory. The team rallies around his honest ambition. They step onto the pitch, the underdogs against the dynasty, with the entire stadium watching. The match is a deadlock. South Cirrus holds their own against Raimon's fierce attacks, thanks to their extensive prep. Harper enters the game midway, and the intensity skyrockets. He unleashes a new move, Meteoric Fire Tornado, blowing past the defense. Destin realizes strategy alone won't work. They need a miracle. In a shocking twist, Destin subs himself into the game. He can't run, but he stands in the midfield acting as a living command tower, directing passes with hand signals. It is insane, risky, and incredibly hype. He is putting his body on the line for the final plays, orchestrating the chaos from the eye of the storm. Cade Shelby makes a clutch run, and South Cirrus equalizes at the last second. The game goes into a frenzied final exchange. Both teams are running on fumes and pure adrenaline. It is a beautiful mess of passion and determination, with Destin directing the final symphony of attacks. The final whistle blows. South Cirrus wins. They have done the impossible, dethroning the kings. Destin collapses, exhausted but victorious. The squad celebrates, having completed the ultimate zero-to-hero run. Harper congratulates Destin, promising to meet him on the world stage next. The journey is over, but the legacy is just beginning. Gaming lore is long and confusing, but I break it down every week. Subscribe so you never miss a plot twist or hidden detail. Thanks for watching.